And we are going to start off with like really brief core work. I know it's a gentle flow and stretch, so you can always skip it, right? And just do your breath work and stay on your back. It's all good. But I do want you to feel like you can take it up a notch if you need to. But remember that today is about flowing and moving, feeling better when you get off your mat than when you stepped onto it. So let that be so, right? And then if you're ready to go ahead and cue up your music, feel free to do so. If you want to follow my playlist, um, it is If I Could Fly. It's a new one. So it should be at the top, but that's not always the case. So if you want to find that, go ahead and get it started. And then lay down on your back. And we'll start off in opening Shavasana. So, whatever space feels appropriate in your body at this point in your day. You could take Supta Baddha Konasana. You do not have to. That is your supine butterfly pose. You can also let your legs extend forward, your feet hang comfortably open. Arms down by the side, body, palms face up. Or you could also take one palm to your belly, one to your heart. I just want you to take a moment and really let yourself drop in. Allow yourself to arrive in this space. There's nowhere to go, nowhere to be, nothing to do. Just do this, be here. I'm actually going to rest my heels on blocks. And then slightly pin your shoulder blades towards your upper back. And when you do that, you feel your chest rise just a little bit more, and even a broadening of your collarbones. And then in this moment of dropping in, start at the crown of your head and just imagine a light relaxation. We are going to move, so you don't want to drop into a complete sleep state, obviously, but a space where you shake off your morning, your week so far, whatever's been going on, and you permit that sensation to travel down through your eyebrows, through your jaw. You wiggle it side to side. The sides of your neck relax, go soft. The back of your head is being supported by the ground, right? So let everything else that tends to support you kind of release. Take off that responsibility. The shoulders soften down and away from your ears, and they roll slightly outward. And then really take your focus to your belly for a moment. It's the space where we hold a lot of our emotions, typically a lot of our fears. And we walk around a lot during the day, kind of pulling the belly in, right? Trying to be smaller here. And I just want you to let it go soft. Relax, release. It's not holding on to anything right now. And that same sensation travels down your legs as they hang comfortably open, or whatever it is that they're doing, right? And then whatever piece of your feet is touching the ground, let it feel heavy. Whether that's the outer edge, the heels, the soles of your feet if you have your feet down. And then wherever you are in your breath cycle, exhale completely. Empty all of that out. Take a deep inhale, allow for your belly to expand, for your rib cage to open, your lungs go to full capacity. And then exhale to empty it out, to release, to ground back down. And then you inhale, your breath will rise, everything lifting. And then exhale to empty it back, let it go, giving it back. Inhale here. And exhale. On your next inhale, float your arms up overhead. Find a full body stretch. Ooh, it's making me kind of yawn. And then roll out your wrists and your ankles. And go in both directions. And on your exhale, draw your knees in towards your chest. Wrap your arms around your shins. You can feel your low back rooting down into the ground. And it's ankle next to ankle rather than crossing so that your hips are level. And just rock slowly side to side and feel the massage down in your low back. You can even turn your face in the opposite direction from your knees, allowing for the simple twist to move through your cervical spine all the way down to your lumbar spine. And then come right back into center. Place your feet down onto the ground about hip width distance apart. Your heels come in towards the sits bones, but not all the way to touch. And then hands down next to your hips, palms facing down. Bridge rolls. So on the inhale, press your feet down and begin to curl the top of your pubic bone up towards your navel. So you feel your bottom start to lift, and then your low back, your hips, moving up through your middle and upper thoracic spine, and float your arms up overhead. Let your palms face up. So we're going to lubricate the shoulder joints as well. And then exhale, upper back, middle back. Start to float your arms back down, lower back. Can you tuck your pelvis so that your low back, sacrum, and bottom come down one at a time? Uncurl, untuck. And then inhale, press your feet down, lift your hips, float your arms up, trying to segment your spine. It's more challenging than we realize. And then exhale, take it back down. You're going to feel the inner thighs, probably the quadriceps. The inhale rolls you up. You just got 2 more of these. Arms float up overhead. Eyes can be open or closed. And then on the exhale, round it back down. Nice and slow. Last one. Inhale, press your feet down, lift your hips, float your arms up overhead. And then exhale to take it back down. Stay right here for your inhale. Heel toe your feet out to the side edges of your mat. And then exhale, drop your knees together for a collapsed bridge. Let your shoulders soften. Just be here for a second. And then inhale, draw your knees back up towards the sky. And on the exhale, hug your knees in towards your chest. Wrap your arms around your shins, perhaps. Rock it side to side. Inhale here. And then exhale to a happy baby. Grab onto the outer or inner arches of your feet. Your knees come in towards your armpits. Your thighs might be parallel to the ground. And this is where we're going to do a little bit of that core work. So this is called swimming-ish. So I'm not going to do full-on swimming today, but just enough to kind of work into the core. And again, if you're not here for that, that is all good. Stay right here, right? It's perfect. We're only going to be here for a few moments. So if you want to work the core, release your feet, but keep your happy baby legs, right? And then bring your hands behind your head. You don't need to interlace the fingers per se because we are going to use the arms, but as you inhale, round your shoulders up and off of the earth. And on the exhale, twist over to the right, straighten your left leg, and let your left fingertips tap your right toes. And then inhale, come back to center. Exhale, twist over to the left, straighten through your right leg, right fingertips tap your left toes. Inhale to center. Exhale, twist over to the right, straighten through your left leg, your right fingertips tap your left fingertips tap your right toes. Inhale to center. Exhale, switch over to the left. And just take a few more rounds of this. So you inhale back through like a happy baby, and then exhale, twist over to the side, and you straighten out the opposite leg. Just moving here. Last 3, Inhale to center. Exhale to twist. Last two. Inhale to center. Exhale to twist. The last one. Inhale, center. Exhale, head and shoulders down. Hug your knees in. And then take your hands behind your thighs. Spinal rocks and rolls the length of your spine. So as you inhale, you rock back. Keep your low back rounded. And on the exhale, you come forward, perhaps tapping your toes. And on your last one, cross your feet at the ankles. Come all the way into your box pose. So I'm going to shimmy back. I'm actually going to grab my little blanket here. This mat is really thin. So once you're here, stack your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists. Bring your knees underneath your hips. And then spread your fingers out wide. Press down into the webbing between your thumb and your forefinger. With your inhale, take a soft belly down towards the ground. Lift your chin, lift your tail. Find a cow pose. And then exhale, reverse the movement. Dome out your upper back, navel to your spine. Let your head hang down, y'all. And then inhale, roll back through. Take a sway to your low back. Let your heart press forward. And then exhale to reverse it, navel to your spine. Separate your shoulder blades to the best of your ability. And then move through this at your own pace. Match your breath to your movement. So the inhale is a cow pose. The exhale is your cat pose. And if you want to move out of this vertical plane, start to sway the hips around. Do anything that feels natural. I like to do this. It moves into my shoulders, my elbows, my wrists. And it kind of gives me an idea of where I'm at today. And then go in the opposite direction. Perfect, y'all. And then come right back into center. Stack all of your joints. And with your inhale, extend your right leg long behind you, but keep your right toes down on the floor. Stretch through your right calf. So I typically do this one a lot. If you're doing any kind of biking, walking, running, kind of stretch out the calves a little bit. And when you're ready, restack your joints. Inhale, firm up the pit of your belly. Lift your right leg to hip height. And then as you exhale, cross your right foot all the way over to the left. Stack your left hip, thigh, and knee. Pull your right shoulder forward, your left shoulder back. Let's get into the right side body. Breathe here. Watch your right elbow. And on your next inhale, re-extend your right leg. Now on the exhale, bend your right knee. Stack your hip, yawn it open. So take your right heel towards your left glute. Watch the shoulders. And then circle it out if you like. You can make these as big or as small as you want. And then you'll go in the opposite direction as well. And then inhale, extend your right leg long behind you. On the exhale, bring your knee towards your chin, your chest, your nose, focusing more on the rounding of the spine, less on the core work, right? And then step your right foot all the way through to your right thumb. You can take left top of your foot down or curl your toes up underneath you. Squeeze the inner thighs towards one another. Inhale, float your arms up overhead. It's a supported crescent lunge, Lamba Anjaneyasana. Stay for your exhale. Now inhale to reach just a little bit higher. On the exhale, bring your right hand down towards your right hip and then float your left arm up and over. So stretching out through your left side body. And if you feel wobbly, remember to firm up the inner thighs. And then also check in with your low back. Pull the pit of your belly in. And then inhale, take both arms to the sky. Exhale your left hand to your left hip. It might come down to the ground or a block, and then reach your right arm up and over. And then inhale both arms to the sky. Exhale, take your elbows back and down. Lift your chest. Roll the shoulders back. If it feels good to you, you can grab opposite elbows or Baddha Hasta, make a fist at the base of your spine. And then on the inhale, puff up your chest a little bit more. Roll your shoulders back. Maybe you lift your chin, lift your gaze. You can even move your head around. Fill out your neck. And then inhale, float your arms up overhead. Exhale, bring your hands down. Shift your hips back, straighten through your right leg. And flex your toes back towards your shin. Let your right hip draw back, left hip forward, and watch your toes. Now, if you need a gentle or a deep bend to your right knee, I want you to take it. And then notice what happens when you extend your tailbone towards the back of your mat. Continue to pull your belly in. Lengthen through your spine. Take an inhale here. Now, your hands can be on either side of your right leg or on blocks. But as you exhale, round through your upper back. Find that cat spine again. Separate your shoulder blades and tuck your chin in towards your chest. And on the inhale, re-extend your tail, lengthen your spine. On the exhale, drop your left hand to the outside of your right leg and continue to pull your right hip back. Just get some IT band work. If you move into that and you're like, not today, then just gently come back out. It's not supposed to hurt, but it could be uncomfortable. And if it's uncomfortable, you might have to sit with it for a second, okay? And on the inhale, come back through center. Press your right foot back down. Curl up your left toes. Lift your left knee. On the exhale, step your right foot to the back of your mat. Soften your knees to the ground and shift your hips back towards your heels. And take a quick child's pose. Forehead down. And then inhale, round yourself back up. Find your box pose. And exhale, step your left foot to the back of your mat and start to roll forward and backward. Navel to your spine. Stretch through your left calf. And then stack your joints. Inhale, lift your left leg to hip height. And exhale, cross your left foot all the way over to the right. Stack your right hip, your thigh, your knee, and pull your left shoulder forward, your right shoulder back. And stretch through your left side body. Breathing here, watch your left shoulder. And then inhale, restack, re-square off. Lift your left leg to about hip height. And then exhale, keep your shoulders squared towards the top of your mat, but bend your left knee, stack your hip, yawn it open. Someone asked me, what am I saying? Just yawning it open. So it's like and you open up through the left hip flexor. Your left heel goes towards your right glute, and then you circle it out if you feel like it. So you're rotating the ball and socket joint of your hip, but it's also a low back release. Now you can make this as big or as small as you want. And then on your next inhale, re-extend your left leg. On the exhale, it's about the rounding of the spine. Tuck your knee in towards your chest and then slide your left foot forward. The right knee comes ever so slightly back. And then stack your left knee on top of your left heel, your left ankle. When you are ready, stack your shoulders over your hips, your arms up over your head. I take it piece by piece just so that as you come up, you find yourself to be less wobbly, right? Than if you just bring your foot forward and come up. Take your arms to the sky, breathe here. Right toes can be curled up underneath you or the top of your foot down. Now inhale, let's reach a little bit higher. On the exhale, your left hand comes to your left hip and then reach your right arm up and over. Stretch through your right side body. It's getting me today. Breathe. On your next inhale, take both arms to the sky. And exhale, your right hand comes to your right hip. And then take your left arm up and over. Breathing here. And then inhale, take both arms high. Exhale, bring your elbows back and down, lift your chest. More than welcome to stay here, or about a half center. Lace your hands at the base of your spine, or grab opposite elbows. Inhale, lift up your chest. Watch your hips. Pull the pit of your belly back. You move your ears kind of towards their respective clavicles or shoulders. And then when you're ready, inhale, float both arms to the sky. Exhale, frame your front foot with your hands. Shift your hips back, straighten through your left leg, and then pull your left hip back, your right hip forward. Toes back towards your shin. Your clavicles, your collarbones are broadened. And then perhaps you flare your tail towards the back of the mat. Good. Now take one more inhale right here. On the exhale, hands are either on the ground or on your blocks. Round through your upper back. Tuck your chin, tuck your tail. Just for a moment, right? And on your inhale, come right back through center. Extend your tailbone towards the back of your mat again and lengthen your spine. On the exhale, drop your right hand to the outside of your left leg. Continue to pull your left toes, especially your pinky, so pay attention to all of them. The second and the third toe kind of let you know what's going on. You want those pointing up at 12 o'clock if it's available. And breathe. And then when you're ready, your right hand comes right back through center. Inhale, walk yourself forward. Curl up your back toes, lift your back knee. This time on the exhale, it's a giant step forward. Your right foot meets the left at the top of your mat. Great time to grab onto your blocks, bring them to the front. Inhale to lengthen your spine. And then exhale to fold yourself down. Now your feet can be about hip width distance apart. If you want to ragdoll, soft bend to your knees, grab opposite elbows, let your head hang down. And then pressing equally into the inner and outer arches of your feet. And then you just sway around a little bit here. Let your head completely go. If you prefer to make interlaced hands around the nape of your neck and lengthen through your spine, that's all good too. And then notice if all of your weight is in your heels, can you bring a little bit into the ball mounds of your feet? It's going to shift your hips forward. And then let your hands come down. On the inhale, nice slow roll all the way up to standing. Reach your arms out and up. And then your choice to have your feet hip width distance apart or to take your feet together. Big toe ball mounds touching, slice of space between your inner heels. On the exhale, bring your hands to the small of your back. Now, if you can take the fingers up, go for it. If it feels better for you to have your fingers down, all good. Cricket wing your elbows back. Pull the pit of your belly in. Now, as you inhale, lift your navel up and away from the top of your pubic bone. And then your sternum pulls up and away from the top of your navel. And take the supported back bend standing. Cricket wing the elbows back. Open through the fronts of your shoulders, through your chest. Maybe your gaze goes to the sky. You've got to be pulling that space between your navel and your pubic bone back. So that skin right there, you're trying to make it taut. It's almost like you're trying to pull it away from your waistband. It's not going to happen, but that's the engagement you have there. So you're supporting directly opposite on your spine. And then on your next inhale, stack your shoulders back over your hips. Leave your hands where they are. And then exhale, slide your hands down the back body and forward fold. Now I'm going to take my feet about hip width distance apart. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, bend into your left knee. Right leg is straight. Your left hand comes down. Reach your right arm up to the sky. Try to stack your clavicles, your shoulders if it's available. And if the cervical spine supports it, your gaze, your drishti goes up to your right hand. And then you have the option to just be here. You can circle out your right arm. You can wrap your right forearm around the small of your back in a half bind, fingertips looking for your left hip crease. Find something that feels right. And breathe. So try to take your breath all the way from your lowest pit of your belly up through your clavicles to your throat. And then float your right arm to the sky. And exhale, forward fold, top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, soft bend to the right knee. Right hand comes down. You're making an equilateral triangle with your right hand and your 2 feet. And then float your left arm to the sky. You have those same options. You can stay right there, or you can circle your arm, or you can take the half bind. Left forearm around the small of your back. Now when you're ready, inhale, float your left arm to the sky. Exhale, fold yourself down. Now inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, melt your chest to the thighs. Now we're going to take Surya Namaskar A, but just let it be flowy, right? On the inhale, float all the way back up. Reach your arms out and up. And exhale, fold yourself down. Inhale to lengthen your spine. And then exhale, step yourself back into a high plank. Option to bring your knees straight away to the ground because it's your gentle day, right? With the inhale, shift yourself forward. You also have the option to come all the way down to your belly. Exhale, point your elbows back. Come all the way down and tuck your toes. Inhale, roll your shoulders back. Lift your chest. And then exhale, press back to either child's pose or you can go straight to downward facing dog. Inhale, if you're in child's, come through your box. And then exhale, lift your hips up and back to downward facing dog. So feet could be about hip width distance apart. And then the hands are maybe shoulder width distance apart. In your downward facing dog, the outer heels line up more or less kind of with your pinky toes, right? So there's an internal rotation of your thigh bone. There's an external rotation to the shin bone. And I know it's a lot and you might not even feel it, right? I'm just giving you those little things so that you kind of start to feel the nuances and the way things are changing in your body as you move mindfully, right? So let's take this nice and easy. Inhale, gaze to your thumbs. So that could create a soft bend to your knees. Exhale as many steps as you need to take your feet to your hands. Inhale to lengthen your spine. And exhale to fold yourself down. Root your feet down. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Reach your arms out and up. And then exhale, hinge at your hips and forward fold. Inhale to lengthen your spine. And exhale your hands down. Step your feet back. Bring your knees to the ground. Unless you're doing something a little bit different, it's all good, right? I know some of you might need a full chaturanga or whatever. On the exhale, bend your elbows and tuck your toes. Come all the way down. Inhale, roll your shoulders back, lift your chest. And then exhale, press back either into child's pose or straight away into downward facing dog. We're all going to meet in that inverted letter B. And then inhale, we've got just 2 more of those. Soft bend to your knees to look forward. And then exhale, step your feet all the way up to the top of your mat. On the inhale, lengthen your spine about halfway. And then exhale, fold yourself down. Inhale, you root to rise, come all the way up to standing. And then exhale, immediately take it right back down. Forward fold. Inhale to lengthen your spine, crown forward, tail back. Exhale your hands down, step your feet back. You could also go straight from here to downward facing dog. If you're with me, the knees come down. Point your elbows back, untuck your toes, and soften it down. Inhale, roll your shoulders back, lift your chest. Exhale, hips to your heels, or maybe straight up and back. If you're in your child's, last one, inhale to come forward. Exhale to lift your hips. And then inhale, bend to the knees, gaze forward. And exhale, take your feet to your hands. Inhale to lengthen your spine. And exhale to fold yourself down. Inhale all the way up to standing. And exhale, fold it back down. Inhale, tabletop your back. Exhale your hands down, step it back, lower to the knees. Point your elbows back and untuck your toes, come all the way down. All right, Joe. Inhale to roll the shoulders back, lift your chest. And then exhale, press your hips back. Find your child's pose. Roll your forehead from side to side. Give yourself that moment to let everything go. And then inhale, press up into your box pose, a little bit more standing, and it's going to be mixed with some finding a seat as well. So all good. Let's meet in downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back. Now inhale, float your right leg up to the sky. On the exhale, bend your right knee, stack your hip, yawn it open, circle it out. So you've been here before, but your knee was down on the ground, right? You can take this in both directions. You can also skip it. And then on your inhale, extend your right leg. And on the exhale, step your right foot all the way through. Stay on the ball of your back foot. Inhale, bring your shoulders over your hips, your arms up over your head. So Anjaneyasana, your crescent lunge. Your knee tracks over the heel, arms to the sky. You can always bring your back knee down, right? You don't have to stay lifted. It's perfect. Now inhale, reach your fingertips a little bit higher. You've got to squeeze your inner thighs towards one another. On the exhale, we're only going to do it in one direction. Bring your right hand to your right hip and then float your left arm up and over. Stretch through your left side body. Perfect. And then inhale, reach both arms back to the sky. Exhale, take your elbows back and down. Lift your chest. Let your fist find itself at the base of your spine, or maybe you grab opposite elbows. Now inhale, just puff up your chest. We're not going to come down. So I know you're probably used to coming forward in your humble warrior. It's not where we're going just yet. At all, actually. So pull the pit of your belly back. Slide your fist, if you have one, down past your sacrum if it goes there, but then internally rotate your upper arm bone. So the tendency is going to be to open it all the way out. I do want you to open up through your shoulders, but to spin your upper arm bone internally, right? So your ears kind of lengthen away from your shoulder tops. Good. Now when you're ready, inhale, float your arms up overhead. Exhale, let your left heel go flat and straighten your right leg. Now on the inhale, open your arms out to a T. You have the option to skip the arms altogether and come straight into your pyramid pose or use your blocks. If you want to take an arm variation with reverse prayer hands, internally rotate your upper arm bones, spin your thumbs down. Take your hands behind the small of your back. Seal your palms together and then flip your fingertips up towards your shoulder blades. And then slide the knife edge of your hands in between your shoulder blades. Now, while you're here, on the inhale, lift your chest and feel that back bend. So we did it earlier, supported standing, but with your hands at your low back. Right now, they're up in between kind of your shoulder blades, your middle thoracic spine. Allow for that to open up your heart before you come down. Pull the pit of your belly in, take an inhale, and then on the exhale, hinge your right hip and spin your navel towards your right thigh bone. If you need to widen your stance, go for it. Press down into the big toe ball mound of your right foot. And then if you notice that your elbows are coming down towards your ribs, I want you to lift your elbows up towards the sky, but if it creates pain, stop. Perfect, y'all. Take one more inhale. And on the exhale, let your hands come down, release. On your inhale, lengthen your spine. If you want it, on the exhale, walk your hands over to the right. Now, some of you are going to spin to the outer edges of both feet, with all 10 toes pointing towards the long edge of your mat. If that's you, great. If it's not, great. If you truly need a little bit more, your left hand stays rooted and your right arm reaches to the sky. It's a deep twist, y'all. Breathe. And if you find yourself getting frustrated, it just means you should have stopped a couple of steps before. Yeah. That's why we build on so, what's the word I'm looking for? Like incrementally. There's always a stopping point before you hit frustration. You just got to choose to take it. And that's hard. Take one more inhale. Maybe your gaze goes up towards your right thumb. And then exhale, let your right hand come down. Spin all the way to the left. Turn all 10 toes towards the long edge of your mat. And then either pigeon toe or parallel to the long edge, you choose. Take an inhale, hands down, lengthen your spine. And on the exhale, fold yourself down. Let your head hang. Shoulders away from the ears. As you breathe in, you know you're breathing in. And as you breathe out, you know you're breathing out. On your next inhale, lengthen your spine. And on the exhale, spin yourself back towards the top of your mat. On your inhale, it's a low lunge. And then as you exhale, step your right foot back and lift your hips up and back to downward facing dog. Breathe. Pedal out your feet. It's all good. And then on your inhale, float your left leg up to the sky. And on the exhale, bend your left knee, stack your hip, yawn it open, circle it out. Go in both directions. And on your inhale, lengthen your left leg. And as you exhale, step your left foot all the way through. Stay on the ball of your back foot. And inhale, root your left foot down to rise. Stack your shoulders over your hips. Reach your arms to the sky. Stay for your exhale. So I want you to feel supported, strong. You're here. You're safe, right? If you need to bring your right knee down to achieve that, then that's what you do. And then with your inhale, reach your arms a little bit higher. You can sink down a little bit lower. And then as you exhale, we're just in this one side. Left hand to your left hip. Reach your right arm up and over. Perfect. And then on your inhale, take both arms to the sky. Exhale, take your elbows back and down. Bind up your hands. Interlace your fingers. Roll your shoulders back. And slide your fist past your sacrum if it goes there. Breathe. Pull the pit of your belly back. And then with your inhale, float your arms up overhead. On the exhale, let your right heel go flat. Inhale, straighten your left leg, take your arms out. And then you have that option. If you want to skip the arms altogether, hinge forward and bring your hands down. If you want your hands on your blocks, they can also go there. If you're going with me with reverse prayer, spin your thumbs down, palms face back. You can either grab opposite elbows behind you, that's fine. Or take your palms together, slide your fingers up. Same thing. This spot between your navel and your pubic bone, so this little space right here, it's like you're trying to pull it back. Because as you do that, you support directly on the opposite side, right? So when you've got this back bend happening here, you're trying to also support your spine, right? And then lengthen, lift your chest, pull the pit of your belly in, and on the exhale, hinge forward. Breathe. Navel towards your left thigh bone, press down into the big toe ball mound of your left foot. And then if your wings are dropping, think of your elbows lifting slightly. Clavicles towards your left ankle. And maybe your head drops down, right? We're trying to avoid too much rounding through the back. Take one more inhale here. On the exhale, release your hands down. Now remember, this is all optional. On the inhale, lengthen your spine. If you're into it, exhale, walk your right hand to the outside of your left foot. Some of you will spin to the outer edges of both feet, and all 10 toes will point towards the long edge of your mat. It's a lot for the IT bands. And then if you're there and you want your right hand to go down and your left arm to go high, go for it. Breathe. Gaze up to your left thumb if it's available. Take one more inhale. And then as you exhale, drop your left hand down. Spin all the way over to the right. Open up towards the long edge of your mat. Inhale to lengthen your spine. And then exhale to fold it down. Let everything go. Let your head hang. You might walk your fingertips in between your legs towards the opposite long edge of your mat and skip over it all completely and draw yourself in a little bit more. Can you take a little bit of the weight into the ball mounds of your feet? Worst case scenario, you're going to fall forward. You're going to stop, drop, and roll and be fine. And then on the inhale, release, lengthen your spine. Exhale, spin all the way back to the top of your mat. Inhale to bend into your left knee. And then exhale, step yourself back, lift your hips. Pedal out your feet. And then when you're ready, on the inhale, float your right leg up to the sky. On the exhale, cross your right knee over towards your left tricep and kick your right foot out. And then right hand stays down. It's a star plank. It's just for a second. Reach your left arm high. If you're like, I don't want to do this, meet us sitting down. And you're kind of diagonal towards the back of your mat, right? It's all good. And on the inhale, reach your arms out and up. And on the exhale, fold forward. You can grab onto peace fingers to your big toes, but you want your knees and your toes to be pointing up. When you feel sensation, you stop. Breathe here. And then on your inhale, lift your gaze. As you exhale, bring yourself back up. Now your left leg is straight towards the back of your mat. Simply bring the sole of your right foot towards your left inner thigh. You might have to scoot your butt so that your hips are pointing squared off towards the back of your mat. The right hip is cocked slightly open for Janu Sirsasana A. Seal the right the right sole to the left inner thigh. And then inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale to fold over your left leg. Relax your shoulders back and down. Long, strong spine. Navel is still spinning slightly towards your left thigh. So this is about your left hamstring, your right hip, your low back on the right side. But there should be no pain in your right knee, none whatsoever. And then on your inhale, lift your gaze. And on the exhale, walk yourself back up. Baddha Konasana. Take the soles of your feet together. If you're feeling tender at all in any way today in the groin, the hips, the low back, take your feet farther away from you, more towards the short edge of your mat. If everything feels great, you can scoot your heels in as much as you want towards your pelvis. And then your hands could find your feet. On the inhale, taking Baddha Konasana A, so flat spine. Lengthen your spine, and then as you exhale, you hinge forward. And you stop when you feel sensation, and there should be no sensation in the knees. They're just there, right? They're just hanging out. One more inhale. And then exhale, slowly come up. Bring the soles of your feet together, the knees together. I said soles of the feet, the inner arches. Wrap your arms around your shins and then tuck your forehead down. And when you're ready, downward facing dog, facing the back of your mat. So hands down, step your feet back, lift your hips, pedal out your feet. And on the inhale, float your left leg up to the sky. As you exhale, take your left knee towards your right tricep, kick your left foot out, and then your left hand stays down. Right foot goes flat. Reach your right arm up to the sky, or skip this if you're like, I do not want to do that. Take one more inhale. And then as you exhale, sit yourself down nice and slow. Second round, we're going to do this again. Hands behind your hips. Inhale, lengthen your spine. On the exhale, fold yourself down through center. Breathe. We've got two more breaths. Now inhale and exhale. Bring your shoulders over your hips. Your right leg is long, strong towards the short edge of your mat. Spin towards the top of your mat. Bring the sole of your left foot towards your right inner thigh. Now with your inhale, reach your arms out and up. And then exhale, hinge at your right hip. Janu Shirshasana A on the opposite side. Spin your navel towards your right thigh bone. Pull your heart forward. Breathe. And then when you're ready, inhale, lift your gaze. Exhale, stack your shoulders back over your hips. Stay for your inhale. Exhale, Baddha Konasana B this time. So bring the soles of your feet together, your heels in towards your sits bones. This one is more with a rounded spine. So you kind of, if you're not into it and you want to stay with that same variation we did earlier, do it. This time on the inhale, lengthen your spine. And then as you exhale, you round down. Feel like your eyebrows are moving towards the crescent moon shape of your inner arches. And then just round it forward. Get a lengthening while rounding. So it's decompressing all of your vertebrae. And your face might come down and actually make contact with your feet. It's all good. Breathe here. And as you breathe in, even here at the end of your practice, you know you're breathing in. And as you breathe out, you know you're breathing out. And then when you're ready, slowly bring yourself back up. Walk your hands back. Roll your shoulders back. Bring your hands behind you and place your feet down on the ground. They're about hip width distance apart. And then windshield wiper your knees from side to side. And then come through center. Your feet are down on the ground. Your hands are behind you. Fingertips pointing towards you. And reverse tabletop. Lift your hips. You're going to feel your triceps, And you don't have to stay very long. It's just to open up through the front side body after all that forward folding, and then exhale, sit yourself down. And then take your arms out. Find a C curve to your spine and roll down one vertebra at a time. Hug your knees in when you get there. And then let your left foot come down, cross your right ankle over your left knee, your left thigh. And then it's a gentle press of your right knee away from you, right? You can just kind of rub there for a second. And then when you're ready, it's your reclined half pigeon, right? So draw the left thigh in towards your chest. Interlace your fingers around your left hamstring. Nuzzle your right forearm into your right inner thigh. Now, if you've been doing reclined pigeon for a while and you're like, I really just don't feel anything here, I'm going to give you this option to, you can either cradle your right leg and let your left leg go long, right? Or you can pitchfork your left arm around your right ankle or calf. And then you reach your right arm around the back of your head, interlace your fingers, and then your head hangs into your right forearm like a little hammock. Whatever variation you're in, you slowly release. Let your head and shoulders come down. Everybody extend your left leg long. Stir your right thigh bone into your hip socket for a moment. You might scoot your hips slightly over to the right. And on your exhale to supine twist. Take your right leg over to the left. Your right arm reaches out to the side body. Gaze over your right fingertips. You can even close your eyes. Breathe. And then on your inhale, come right back through center. As you exhale, hug your knees in towards your chest. Wrap your arms around your shins, raga side to side. And then place your right foot down on the ground. Cross your left ankle over your right knee. Take that moment. Everything is on purpose with purpose. So don't skip the steps, right? Slide your left hand towards your inner thigh. Give it a little massage or rub there. Move everything away. And then if you're like, I just need some more, then right thigh and towards your chest. Interlace your fingers around your right hamstring. Flex both feet. And then once you're there and you're like, it just feels great. I think I could do more. Then you're going to cradle your left leg and extend your right leg long. The left outer hip is a little tight today. It's all good. Then if you're like, wow, I think I still want some more. Pitchfork your right arm underneath your left leg. Take your left arm, wrap it around the small, I was about to say the small of your back. Wrap it around the back of your head and make your hammock. Breathe. To be honest, my right heel landed on a block. It was by accident. Feels pretty amazing. One more inhale. And then exhale to release. Everybody extend your right leg out long. Stir your left thigh bone around. You might scoot your bottom over slightly. And then on the exhale, cross your left knee over to the right. Oh, I got a spinal adjustment there. Left arm out to the side body. Your gaze goes over your left fingertips. Ideally, both shoulders are down, but if that doesn't work, it's all good. Breathe. On your next inhale, slowly come through center. And on the exhale, hug your knees in towards your chest. Rock it side to side. Take an inhale. If there's anything else that you need to do to close down your practice, please feel free to do so. If you're with me on the exhale, bring your forehead up to your knee. Take one more breath in. And on the exhale, Shavasana, extend your legs forward. Let your feet hang comfortably open or anything at all that feels right to you. Do that. And then once you're in that space, taking any final movements so that when you truly lie down, you can just lie down. There's no fidgeting. All you're doing is breathing and floating in this space that you have created. And rest. If what you need is to be here a little bit longer, you're going to tune me out and stay right where you are. Especially if you were just now able to drop in, I want you to stay. Otherwise, begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, bringing gentle movement back into your body. And on your inhale, take your full body stretch, your arms up over your head. You can arch your low back away from the mat. And on the exhale, hug your knees in so that you can roll over to the right. And then gently press yourself up into your comfortable, easy sit, your Sukhasana. Take your time getting there. Your hands can rest in your lap on your knees, or you can bring your palms together in Anjali Mudra, thumbs towards the sternum, whatever feels right. You should take that moment, that pause, to be grateful for your body, for what it does for you today, to be hopeful for tomorrow. Thank you for taking the time out to get on your mat, to do your practice, to breathe and move. It's important. You have a great rest of your day, and namaste.